Hi everybody, welcome back to the South Australian Sports Show, and we'll go anywhere to get a good story for you. Some of our great South Australian athletes, future Olympian we hope, Callum Dunn, out on the water right now here at West Lakes, and it is freezing out here. He's just starting to paddle in and we'll grab him for a quick interview. Yes, well, Callum's parked the kayak here on the dock at West Lakes. We had a quick interview with him. Sorry to get you out of the boat, mate. Make it cold for you.
It's all right.
Now let's get a start, mate. 15 years of age, you do a talent identification. They identify your body type. Good for cycling, good for kayaking. Why kayak?
I just decided when I was just doing the two sports that West Lakes is much closer for me, and also going out to Jeps Cross was a bit too much. And I found I liked kayaking a lot more. Cycling was a really good sport and I did well with that as well, but I just enjoyed kayaking a lot more, and you know, if you enjoy something more you're going to want to do it more, so that's one thing that made me really want to do it.
All right, you've been on a pretty steep increase in your times, a pretty steep learning curve. In 2009 you make the Australian Hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So it was my first ever team, and I was probably 10 seconds slower than I was now, and that was when I was about 16. It was off to Czech Republic, and that was just for a competition with 22 other countries, and I ended up finishing 8th in that, and that was a really good experience because I got to see how good I was compared to the rest of the world, and how much I had to increase my speeds, and how big everybody else was actually. That was a massive factor I noticed.
All right, 2011 you go to the World Championships. Normally when you come back from those, you've touched on it there, you see the things you need to work on to be successful. What was the thing you took most out of the 2011 Worlds?
Well, I did notice once again that the size was a big factor. Even my coach was saying that I was a little scrawny fella. I was only probably about 75.
You're too scrawny here, mate. You're all right.
Beefing up now. The program's working really well. But I did notice probably a lot of my technique as well. We were still up there. Like I was in the K4 1000 and we finished 10th overall. A few mishaps happened along the way with a few of the teammates. One of them got glandular fever, but can't do much about that. But we were really happy with being top 10 in the world, so can't complain at all.
All right, your specialty, you like the 200. Obviously you don't like the longer distance. Your times now, what's your best time at the moment over 200?
So currently my best time is about a 35.9, and looking at the best times in the world, they're getting around close to the 34 mark. In Australia, if I want to be one of the best, I probably want to get around a 35.5 or 35.4. So I'm in the ballpark, just got to do that little bit extra to get there, you know.
All right, so 2016, obviously the Olympics in Rio, that's your goal, that's the dream that we're aiming for. You've got to get to that time, so technique's going to be a part of it, strength's going to be a part of it. You think you're on course to get to those times that you need to? Yeah,
well, I'm definitely aiming to get those times, definitely. Like, the guys that are doing those fast times are doing bench pressing double their body weight, so 160, 170 kilo, and their techniques are just phenomenal. And currently I'm bench pressing about 125, close to 130, and my technique's coming along really well, but I'm still working on the thing with slouching and get to my
Landing in the boat, the coach is on you about that, isn't it?
Constantly.
You're talking about bench pressing now 125, 130. Can you remember what you benched when you started? Without embarrassing yourself?
So when I first got into the SASS program, I'd barely touched any weights in the gym and was probably struggling with 40 kilo.
Yeah, so
I was only weighing in about 70 kilo, and now I'm about 80, 81, and I'm doing probably 1.5 times the body weight now. So it's a massive step up to what I was doing.
All right, the workload's horrific. What's an average day on the water in the gym for you? What's an average day?
An average day, you'd probably get up at 6, get down to training at 6:30, do a bit of stretching beforehand just to limber up and warm up, get on the water, do a session for about an hour and a half. Then I've also got usually uni on top of that, so I go to uni.
Sleep in the lectures?
Pretty much. Then I'll come back to training. These afternoon sessions are usually a paddle or a gym session. And that goes for another hour and a half or so, and sometimes even a third session if we're lucky.
And you've got to consume a massive amount of food because there's a massive amount expended. Mm-hmm. Then there's the right amount. So, I mean, what do you reckon you'd consume over the course of a day?
you'll constantly see me eating food, even in the lectures. Like I'll just find myself being hungry, and it's just something that I've always got to be doing, and I've always got to have a snack handy already, and usually have an apple. And by lunchtime, I've pretty much already finished both my sandwiches and all my recess and stuff. So I'm always constantly snacking and getting into the food. It's probably insane how much I do eat.
Well, mate, it's a little bit blustery out here at the moment this morning. I mean, on the water, does the wind have a massive bearing on your trainings?
We try not to let that get in the way, and we always find at Westlake it's fairly blustery, so you can't really take that into consideration when you're going to be racing and you don't know what the conditions are going to be on the day that you're going to race. So you've just got to take it as it comes and take what the conditions give you. Especially everybody else is going to have the same conditions, so you just got to work with what you have and do your best with what you can get.
We watch the 100 metre, 200 metre sprints at the Olympic Games. They're the big focal. Usain Bolt, of course, draws a massive crowd, a lot of attention. Explosive start.
Mm-hmm.
Over the 200, the start pivotal for you guys?
Yeah, extremely. So if you miss the start in a 200, that's pretty much end. If you're not even half a second off your start, then you're pretty much stuffed, and you've just got to make up so much ground, because the guys at the top level, they're just so explosive, so strong from the start. They just take off straight away and just leave you in the wake. And if you're not within the top 5 in the first 100 metres, then you're pretty much stuffed.
Right, you're talking about you're out on the water for about an hour and a half. How much time is spent on the start? I mean, you obviously wouldn't do it every day because it'd be exhausting, but say over the course of 7 days in the water, how many days, every second day would be some start practice
Yeah,
work?
I'd say about every second day. So there's key sessions where on a Saturday, which we'll do probably around 15 to 20 starts, even more, sometimes 28. That's a tough session. But then during the week, we'll have sessions where we'll go around the lake. Every 5 minutes, we'll do a quick burst of speed, just to make sure that we're still getting on that quick sprint, and making sure that we're not losing any of those fast twitch fibres, and making sure that we're primed to sprint.
All right. Coming up, what's the most important thing coming up for you now?
Well, currently I'm in preparation for the Under-23 World Championships. Leaving tomorrow morning,
Yep.
6 a.m. tomorrow morning, so you can have an early one. We're going to be going to Hungary, a place called Szeged, which is pretty much the kayaking mecca. And I'm really excited because I've never been to Hungary before, and it's been the first time I've been to Szeged, so I'm really excited to do that. And I'll be racing the K1 200 over there against some pretty big lads, so I'm excited to see how I can go with that.
All right, our special guest, Callum Dunn, of course. Stay tuned. Going to be in the Olympic Games, Rio 2016. Remember that name, 200 kayaker. Callum Dunn, our guest. We'll take a break. Back in a moment.